Talon drove alone to the designated location. He stepped out, dragging a duffel bag stuffed with $20 million in cash toward the warehouse. The leader of the kidnappers, a scar-faced man with a menacing presence, inspected the bills by pulling out a few stacks and checking their authenticity. His eyes gleamed with greed. "Mr. DuPont, truly generous. If you'd been this cooperative earlier, Ms. Ashford wouldn't have had to suffer." At his signal, the henchman released Cara Ashford. Cara, upon gaining her freedom, immediately threw herself into Talon's arms, sobbing. "Talon, why did it take you so long? My leg might be broken. It hurts so much. They even said they'd assault me if you didn't come soon." Talon held her, comforting her softly. But his eyes never left Aria Delacroix. She struggled against her restraints, her mouth stuffed with cloth, unable to utter a word. Aria knew Talon too well. Sacrificing her for power was nothing to him. From the start, Talon said nothing. He watched as Aria's struggles turned into quiet despair. The scar-faced man chuckled, pulling a knife to lift Aria's chin. "Mr. DuPont, this beauty is worth at least another $2 million. How about it? Take her off our hands or we'll share her among ourselves." $2 million wasn't beyond Talon's means, but he couldn't afford to pay. Xavier Ashford already suspected him. Any move that hinted at a connection with Aria could shatter his carefully constructed relationship with the Ashford family. Faced with a choice between power and a woman, Talon chose power. He couldn't meet Aria's hateful gaze. Turning his back to her, he spoke coldly. "I don't know her." Aria had anticipated this outcome, but it still felt like a knife to the heart. Her tears slipped silently down her cheeks. He was truly ruthless. Without looking back, Talon carried Cara toward the waiting car. Cara hesitated, whispering, "Isn't this a bit much? What if she gets assaulted? Ethan would be heartbroken." Talon pressed on her injured leg, making her cry out in pain. "It hurts so much. Talon, take me to the hospital." Talon placed her in the car and, as he straightened up, cast one last glance at the warehouse. "Aria, don't blame me." He started the engine and drove off, fearing that staying even a second longer would make him regret his choice. Inside the warehouse, the kidnappers cursed. "Worthless. Not even $2 million. Guess she's ours now. Hurry up and have your fun. Don't waste time." The group of men eyed Aria with vile anticipation, eager to defile someone so breathtakingly beautiful. Aria's eyes were filled with terror and hatred. Any lingering affection she once had for Talon evaporated entirely in that moment. As the men closed in, a sharp noise echoed from the corner of the warehouse. The kidnappers froze, startled. "Who's there?" From the shadows, Xavier Ashford emerged, leaning casually against the wall, a lighter flicking open and closed in his hand. He smirked. "Miss Delacroix, why do you always look so helpless when we meet?" Aria froze in disbelief, slowly turning her head to see Xavier approaching. At the same time, the wail of police sirens filled the air outside the warehouse. For the first time in her life, she felt grateful beyond measure for his presence.